All right, so you guys know what we're here to talk about. Did you see any of the posters or the announcements? You know what we're talking about today? Money. Fine, that's it. That's it. Here's how I heard it when I was sitting in your seat. Financial literacy. That's what I thought it was, financial literacy. I'm not gonna lie, guys, let's be totally honest with each other. Man, when I was in high school, some dude would come out here, play rock and roll guitar, and come back out and said, I'm here to talk about financial literacy. I probably would have been like, boo. Doesn't sound right. Go ahead, get it out. Boo. I get it, man. Here's the thing. Press people ask us this all the time, too. We were in the Wall Street Journal, we were on CNBC talking about this, yada, yada, yada. The first question is always the same one. What does rock and roll and financial literacy have to do with each other? It doesn't seem very sexy, I must say it. It doesn't seem very rock and roll to talk about. Let me tell you why it is. Why we care about it, why we started donating shows and yelling about this issue. This one thing is the common denominator between a whole bunch of problems that our communities are having and our schools are having. It sounds like some of you guys already understand this. I like to pretend, just do this for me, pretend financial literacy is Latin for freedom. Whatever you guys want to do with your families, your careers. I'm not up here to tell you to be a rock star or an athlete or any of the other people I'm going to make a little fun of here for just a few minutes. I'm here to tell you that whatever's burning inside of you, there's a way to get there a lot quicker than we did, and there's a way to avoid a lot of things that are happening to you guys that weren't happening to us when we were trying to put this thing together. So that's what we're going to talk about. Do me a favor. Raise your hand if you want to buy a car. Okay, you already got a car? You want a second car? I love it. Better car. Okay, cool. That's the lights too. Thank you. No problem. You guys run a tight ship here, man. This place is beautiful to perform in. Thank you. We've been all around the country. This is a good room. Okay, raise your hand if you want to buy a house. All right, good. I'm gonna split the crowd now. Raise your hand if you want to get married someday. He said nah. His hand shot up. Ladies, that's a committed person right there. Because when I was in high school, I was like, I just want to practice guitar. I don't have a date to the prom. Believe it or not, I was actually kind of bashful. Okay, good for you. Guys, if you raise your hand, or you even thought about raising your hand to any one of those three questions, what I'm about to tell you, I promise you, is going to affect you as much as anything else you're going to learn in high school. I graduated high school knowing more about geometry than how to balance a checkbook. I went to college on Pell Grant, KU, or LJ Hawks. Didn't know what a credit score was till I'd wrecked mine. When it was time for me to try to get a little record label going, get things going, I had no idea what I was up against. You guys know that employers, before they hire you, are checking your credit score? Raise your hand if you know what a credit score is. That's a lot of people, that's good. You have financial literacy classes here? Man, that's great. Okay, because the thing is, guys, a whole lot of schools don't. And if some of you haven't had any financial literacy or haven't been in that class, I promise you, we want to spread this word together. This just isn't about me going, guys, here's what I know, let me tell you about it. This is starting a conversation in our communities. This is making some change. This is not waiting for anybody else to change laws or do anything else. This is us taking a little bit of control of our own destiny, which is rock and roll, and trying to do the things we want to do. So here's what I thought the face of financial literacy was. This is not actually my grandfather, but I picked this picture because it's what I heard in my head. Goody, you need to get a real job, go to business school, go to blah, 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 blah. So I don't need to hear that. I'm gonna write a hit single, I'm gonna be a rock star, I'm gonna buy my mama a house, I'm gonna live happily ever after. Just that simple, right? Yeah, it is. Folks, you know it's not. I know you know it's not. When I turned on the television, little kid, moved from Ipsy to Kansas, getting beat up after school, turned on television, I'm like, man, look, everybody's half naked, dancing, drinking Cavassier, rich, famous, so fun. If I just get out to Los Angeles, all my dreams will come true. Folks, I lived out in Los Angeles for 10 years. It's gone great. Things are going good now. But I've met a lot of these people. And I really got to tell you, man, some of them, they go up this fast, they come down even faster. And the reason we're talking to young people about this issue is zero is not the bottom. Zero is not the bottom. The rates on credit cards, there's loans you can get, same-day lenders, things get really tricky really fast. Here's what I want to tell you. If you have $1 in your pocket, even $1, you got more money than some of these famous folks. So if you're willing to actually put a little bit away as you go, it's not about becoming famous or waiting for the record deal or any of that other stuff. But it took me a while to listen to this. I figured, well, I'll just do my thing and a record label to sign me. Always waiting for somebody else to do it. We got to build our own thing. We got to find our own way, diversify, get stuff started ourselves. That's how we bring good things back to us. Now, I was raised by a single mama, wonderful woman. Let us play rock and roll all night long in the basement, trying to get our dream together. But we didn't always open the bills in my house. We didn't talk about what a credit score was. We didn't know the word was financial literacy. There wasn't any of that. So some of you guys may be in a situation where your parents are talking about this. Sounds like some of you are, which is great. Let's get this communication together between us with our folks. If your family doesn't want to talk about this, they don't care about this stuff, that's fine. Let's look for some other people to talk to. We turn off some of the stuff we think is our heroes and find some people right here. Other friends, families, teachers, preachers, whoever it is that you can ask questions to. Maybe here in the school too. So don't be afraid to ask questions to us too. We're going to bring the band back out and we're going to answer some questions. If you have a financial literacy question, we will give you some free merchandise. And I don't know if you guys had a postcards today. I'm going to show you a little QR code you can shoot with your phone. But feel free to ask us or your teachers for the postcards too. If you answer 3 questions at the end of this thing, just hit us up online. We'll send you our new record for free. We'll stay in touch with you on this stuff too. So I was very lucky. I had some teachers that actually were willing to talk to me about some of this, but I was a little stubborn. I didn't listen at first. So it took us a while. We were on the road for about 10 years. I was not lying when I said I could cook ramen in any coffee pot in a Motel 6 in America. We were living out of the back of the van, doing what we had to do. We've been all around. We played in every state in Lower 48. We got to tour the UK, Canada, got a bunch of music placements, all this stuff. But this all started happening when I finally stopped waiting for somebody else to solve my problems and started doing things myself, started looking at this band like a small business, and all of us banded together and started working on it. So that's why we realized this issue actually can make a big difference. So now we have a record label, we have a publishing company. We did not come here to show you fine people car commercials this afternoon. The reason we played all that is we wrote, mixed, recorded, engineered, mastered every note of that. We made the cold calls, we got it on television, and now they send us the royalty checks so we can stay on the road, and it keeps everything rolling. All of this happened because of one sentence. And you guys are being awesome, man. You're totally listening. I know without fail when you leave, those of you that are going to put into action a couple of things I'm going to give you here, I know some people are going to make fun of you. That's just school. That's the way it goes. I get it. I got heckled, and I heckled a couple people. Said, oh man, no, that dude, he just need to play more guitar. Folks, here's what I want to tell you. If anybody makes fun of you for trying to get into what we're about to do, those same people that hate on you, let them hate. They'll be asking you for a job in 10 years. I promise you that. The geeks shall inherit the earth. Let me give you the first geeky thing I want you to write down. Control your money or it will control you. We have not played up here before. It's beautiful, by the way. We got lakes everywhere. We were driving up this morning like, wow, this is amazing. So this is wonderful up here. I hope we get to come back. But you probably haven't heard of us. We're new to this area for the tour. So let me show you some people that you might have heard of that have not controlled their money. Let me give you a couple of statistics here first. Only 4 in 100 Americans, 18 to 35, are making more than $35,000 a year. Now, when I was sitting there, I would have said, well, that's no problem. I'll just have to be one of the 4. Folks, this isn't about how intelligent you are, how hardworking you are. This is that we don't always have the knowledge to do what we need to do with money. We don't put anything away in savings. If you do nothing else when you leave today, how many of you guys have a savings account? Who's got a savings account? That's a lot of people. That's a lot of people. You're in a fortunate situation. That's good. Folks, once you get to a place where you can actually start putting this stuff to work for yourself, you know what compounding interest is? Raise your hand if you want to. Let's see what all we got to delve into. Not quite as many people. Okay. If nothing else happens, I want a savings account open. I want to make sure everybody understands what a credit score is. There's no better way we can lift our communities up. And this isn't just about making money. I want to see everybody do well. This is about us being able to actually change the world a little bit, maybe help some other people. If you're doing really well and you're already ahead of this, then we got a little responsibility to get the word out and maybe do some good things for other people too. But without putting that money away, it doesn't matter how hard you work, it goes right back out. 76% of Americans live in paycheck to paycheck. You know that only 62% of us have anything more than, or 62% of Americans have less than $1,000 in savings, excuse me. Now let me give you one more example, and this is 100 years before everybody was born, but this is really important. In 1946, here we go. 22% of what we owed on our houses and our cars, that's what our debt level was. It wasn't credit cards, it wasn't savings. It was 1/5 of what we were bringing in was going out to the house and the car. 110% today. As a country, we now owe more than we're making. Here's the easiest way to look at financial literacy. This pocket's what's coming in, this pocket's what's going out. If you're spending more than you're making, you're going to suffer. People around you are going to suffer. And I promise you, folks, the way you look at $1 right now, unless you change your behavior, change your mindset about money, is the way you would look at $1 million if it came in today. If you're not saving now, doesn't matter how much you make. Expenses rise to meet income, and we're right back at the beginning. Let me show you some people this happened to. There's one of the most talented cats in basketball, Dennis Rodman. There's two kinds of expenses when this money comes in. Fixed expenses, that's the things you need. Gas, the car, the shirt. You probably don't need $500 shirt. Maybe buy the old shirt from Target. Put the money away and let the money work for you. You guys are young enough that money can work for you. Buy the band shirts. The thing is, guys, if you can separate what your fixed expenses are and your variable expenses, that's all the crap you actually don't need. I used to go to Target, I get myself, oh, Sons of Anarchy DVD, put it on a credit card. Guys, you ever do this? You ever go to your closet and you look at something you bought like a year ago, you don't even remember that you bought it? That is a variable expense. That money could have actually been making you money. Variable expense for this man is making it rain in Vegas clothing shop. You know how much money Dennis Rodman earned. We're talking about millions and millions of dollars. Again, it doesn't matter if you have $100 million. If you don't save now, that money, expenses rise to meet income, you're back down to where you started. Raise your hand if you play sports in this room. Ladies, gentlemen, raise your hand. Great, okay. Guys, check this out. This is unbelievable to me. 78% of the NFL football, it's 4 out of 5. 3 out of 5 of basketball, NBA, broke or financially stressed within 5 years of the contract. Doesn't matter how much they make. Actors, not a whole lot better. I'm actually a Nick Cage fan. I think he's pretty cool. $20 million of film my man is making. Right now, he just sold off 2 houses. It's actually selling back a car. Doesn't matter how much comes in, he's spending it. But let's talk about a variable expense. Outfits for dinosaur skull. $33,000. What did the dinosaur skull cost, man? It's absolutely insane. Ladies, female bankruptcy is on the rise. And I'm a hypocrite. We have music in these shows. Kim Kardashian put some stuff in Jersey Shore back in the day. Snooki. But these are not mentors. These are not heroes. We worked with John Hope Bryan and Quincy Jones. Quincy did Michael Jackson's Thriller, a bunch of records. They have a foundation in Los Angeles called Operation Hope. And part of this is a really cool sentence that makes sense to me. Say, we gotta make smart sexy again. That's the thing. We gotta make smart sexy again. There is nothing wrong with going slow and steady and learning some things while we're doing it. Okay, here we go. I'm gonna get through this, just a couple more. I'm gonna give you the blueprint. We're gonna talk about credit score, wrap this up, bring the band back out. I wanna take some questions, so be thinking about the questions. We had Britney Spears up here for a long time. Her variable expenses were a couple $100,000 a month, absolutely insane. She's almost bankrupt. She ended up back in Vegas, so she's making some money. We got her off the big board. 50 Cent, $108,000 a month on variable expenses. Guys, this is about having an emergency fund. It's about having a little bit put away for a rainy day. Because the thing is, if you have nothing put away, you end up having to get a loan that gets very, very difficult to pay off because the interest is high, if your credit score is down. What we're trying to do is see you guys make interest, not pay interest. We want to get you in a position where you're actually making money on your money, and that's how we can change the world and do some good things. Tyra Banks, you guys know Tyra Banks? She just went back to business school, opened up a couple of charities. She's doing great. Zoe Deschanel, New Girl. Her Keanu Reeves, same thing. Rides the subway, got a little apartment. Millions of dollars. But he's more interested in making that money, make money. He pays his crew as much as he's making. There's different ways to do this. Let me give you one more example here, guys. You ever play the lottery? Anybody ever buy the lottery ticket? That's good. You're not messing with that up here. That's good. I played the lottery in Kansas. I'm not going to lie. Guys, what is this, $69, $70? Yeah, $70 billion business. Callie Rogers, about you guys' age. Same thing. Doesn't matter how much comes in, you're back down to zero. It's just like an inheritance. You think, oh, I got a great auntie gonna leave me some money. Doesn't matter how much comes in. If you're not saving now, you won't then. Let me tell you how to break the chain. Let me tell you what would have fixed it for these people especially. $50 a week. That's not easy, folks. I'm not saying it's gonna be easy, but if you're willing to work a few extra hours a week starting at 18, a lot of you guys are younger than 18, so you have more time for this to work. $50 a week, compounding interest. I didn't see a lot of hands for it, so here you go. I'll give it to you real quick. You put away $100, you leave it alone. Leave it in that savings account. Eventually you're going to invest it. 6% return over time. This is an IRA. This is a diversified portfolio. You learn about this stuff. Some of you may already know now. You learn about this stuff a little bit later. But the point is, if you're saving money, if you're putting it away, that's an average return. You get back $106. Now I know what you're thinking. That's not that much money, man. Ain't no big deal. $6. Leave it alone. Here's the cool part. They're going to pay you back 6% not only on your money, but their money. See what happens there? All of a sudden you get paid on what you left alone and what you put in. Over time it goes like this. By the time you retire, you got $678,000. 6% rate, $678,000. Now here's the reason that we're talking to you at your age. If you start that now, when you leave this room, if you start figuring out, man, when I'm 18, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna get a budget, I'm gonna start balancing my own checkbook, I'm gonna get my credit score up, you do these things, you have that guaranteed no matter what. That money's making you money. Say you blow this off, wait till you're 30 years old, you're down to 460. Say wait till you're 40 years old to start saving, start learning this stuff, $308,000. So it goes down, it gets harder and harder to get out of this situation. And here's some people you can talk to. If any of this is confusing, I want to make sure you have some resources. We're going to give you a website you can go to. And again, feel free to ask us questions, teachers, anybody. If you go into a local bank, how many of you guys, you said you had a savings account? Who has just a checking account, like attached to a debit card? Most of you guys? Okay, we'll talk about the difference between debit and credit here in just a second. But there are local banks, we're a big fan of credit unions, that I absolutely promise you are willing to help you. I didn't want to do that. I was like, man, banks don't want to talk to me. I was a rock and roller, I was money in the mattress, right? No, guys. $5 you can start a savings account. $5. So whatever you can do to start putting a wall between the money you earn and how you're spending it is going to set you up for life. Let's keep moving on. Let me show you a couple things that can actually separate you from being able to achieve these goals. I stole this from a book called Rich Dad, Poor Dad. It said every dollar is a soldier. You leave your soldiers in the field fighting for you, they take care of you. You get rid of them with some of these mistakes, it gets very hard to hit those things, hit those goals. Who's going to college in here, man? 2-year school, 4-year school, trade school, Ivy League, I don't care, college. Beautiful, okay. Here's the thing, as soon as you hit the campus, when we hit the campus, dude come up and goes, hey, you want a free t-shirt? I'm like, yep, what I gotta do? Sign this, get a credit card. I was like, cool, man, free money. Yeah, I think you guys know that's not free money. What I did was I said, what other free stuff you got? I'll take 10 credit cards, I'm starting a record label, I need access to capital. Guys, credit cards are the most expensive money, some of the most expensive money you could get. You only need one credit card, you don't need 10 credit cards. The only reason I say you even have one is it helps you build a credit score. If you're paying it off on time, if you're doing what you're supposed to do, don't skip the minimum payments. It's another mistake I made. I said, well, I'm going on tour next month, and I have a bunch of money next month, I'll just pay them then. All they needed was like 34 bucks. They just needed me to say, I get it, I owe you this money. Credit score down 100 points, very hard to get a loan. One credit card is all you need. You guys know what a same-day lender is? I don't think there's a ton of those up here, but you may know, you may have seen them. Raise your hand if you've heard of same-day lenders. Payday loans, you'll see this? John Oliver just did a thing on this a few months ago. Guys, you'll see these. They're really easy to spot. Cash money, cash now, cash, money now, chicken wing now, cash this. It's ridiculous. Ridiculous. They want you to think they're banks. I'm not against anybody working there, I understand, but the system is a mess. If you see a light out, a liquor store, a concrete block, the side is in Los Angeles, you better believe there's a same-day lender trying to set up shop. These folks are taking money from the people who are already struggling the most. We got upset about this issue because we've been touring around the country. We talked to a lot of people who've gotten these loans. Here's how it works. You go into a same-day lender, say you need 200 bucks immediately. People spend a lot of time and money to make that fine print really fine and really difficult to read. What happens is you say, oh, it's 10%, that's fine. I'll pay back 10 bucks for every $100. You miss a couple of payments, all of a sudden you're in a cycle with this money. And eventually you owe a lot more than you ever borrowed. You guys know how high some of these interest rates are at the same-day lenders? What's your guess? Credit cards are 20%, 15%. What do you think a same-day lender gets? 60? About 40. You know, it's actually sustainable at that. That's the number that if they were doing it around that, even with the people that can't pay back, they can still make a living. Folks, the average down in Texas, down south, is 400%. There's actually more same-day lenders than Starbucks, McDonald's, and Whataburger combined down in Texas. In the south, where we just moved to, we're out of Nashville, Tennessee, there's 13 same-day lenders in a 2-block area there. We played a couple schools there, and people having a hard time. They set up 13 of this. You can't go find a place to eat, but there's 13 places to give you a loan at, guess, you're not going to believe this, I'm going to tell you, 1,300% interest. You miss enough payments, you're paying $1,300 for every $100 you borrow. Can you believe this is legal? I'm talking to you about what you can make at 6%. I want to see you make money, not pay it. Imagine what these folks are pulling out of our communities, the communities that are struggling with 1,300%. So stay away from these folks. They want you to think they're banks, guys. I'm going to get off of this, but it upsets me. So one more thing. They have a little linoleum countertops and a safety deposit boxes. Come in. It's not a bank. You cannot build your credit score on a same-day lender. So put the word out. Stay away from those cats. Auto loans. Same kind of thing. Just make sure you're watching what the interest rate is. Pay cards. Who has a job at like Walmart, Taco Bell, Target, something that's like, you know, corporations paying with pay cards. That's good. Anybody's got a job, put away at least 10% of that money. That's the biggest thing, get in the savings account. Here's why I'm railing on pay cards. We're almost done here, guys. Because when you get paid with a pay card instead of a check, first of all, it's very easy to look at the logo on the card and it seems like a credit card, even though it's your hours that they're paying you with. You go, well, I'll turn around and buy something here in the store. No, here's the problem. $1 every time you check your balance. They're charging $1 for you to check the balance on your hours. It's up to $5 to transfer your money from your pay card into your own savings accounts. That's $1 billion business. It's just getting going right now. Stay away from pay cards. Take the check. Start saving it. We're going to start pulling all this together here in one place, guys. We talked about a lot. You've been really patient, and I appreciate it. This is the last thing I want to cover. Credit score starts at 500. When you're 18, you got a clean slate. It's right in the middle. It's not good. It's not bad. As long as you're paying your bills on time. As long as you're not getting a bunch of stuff you don't need, racking it up. The thing is, once the credit card gets too high and there's no distance between what your limit is and what you've spent, that hurts your credit score. Not paying your minimum balance, that hurts your credit score. Not opening the mail and paying it on time, those are all things. I'm not telling you money's bad, I'm telling you that the knowledge about money, not having, is what gets us in trouble. So the coolest thing about this is, if you're doing what you're supposed to do, if you're only getting the things you need, if you're working that job, you're paying this stuff off, over time, a couple years, your credit score starts going up. Once you're around 700, 800, when you want that house, when you want that car, whatever it is that you're trying to get, you can get a good loan for it. You go into a bank, they see your credit score is high. It also affects everything you buy. Your insurance, the rates you get for things, they're looking at your credit score before they tell you how much it's going to cost. This credit score over your life can literally be hundreds of thousands of dollars in the bank if you keep it high. So it's absolutely important to maintain that. And if there's any confusion on this, any questions you have about it, please feel free to ask me, because we're almost done here. Last slide before we wrap this up. This is everything we talked about today. Green is a good credit score. Yellow is mediocre. Red is bad. Low, 300, 400 towards the bottom. This is getting a loan at a reputable bank, credit union, somebody that actually wants to work with you in the community. Credit cards, which is what I did, living off of. The last one's the same-day lender. If you go into a reputable bank, somebody local here, and I want to thank our sponsors. We actually work with Raymond James. They're an investment bank. They don't have banks on the street. They're investing in you guys for long term. They're looking way out. And just great people. We turned down some sponsors on this deal. They're absolutely wonderful to work with. Personal loan, $104 if you got a good credit score. That means for every $100 you only owe $4. Do like I did. Start living off of credit cards with a mediocre credit score. For every $100 I owed, I was paying $25 back. That means a fourth of my work was going to somebody else. I want to see everything you guys are earning go to you. Last one, same-day lenders, bad credit score down in the South, $1,300 for every $100. Absolutely ridiculous. Folks, this is it. We're putting it all together. Hit this if you see this. We'll put this back up at the very end. That's the QR code. That'll take you to where you can answer a couple questions, get some free music. Balance your own checkbook, start saving, get this stuff, take this little quiz, stay in touch with us, guys. We're at Gooding Music. If you have a question that you're embarrassed to ask in front of everybody, because I know some of us get in some situations at home, there's things we have to ask for other people on their behalf as well. Hit me up anytime. We're at Gooding Music. Go ahead, Noel. Actually, do me a favor, too. That's the 5th member of the band back there from Panorama City, California, on the sound, driving the bus. Our tour manager. Give it up for Noel DeLong right there. Before I give you our site, this is RJ Life Goals. Any questions you have, you could go here. There's a lot of really good information at that. RJ Life Goals if you want to follow up on this. We're at Gooding Music on all the sites, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, Facebook, all of it.